No, not for this. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. What's good, everyone? This is gonna be short, quick, straight to the point. Um, that was a video that was out. I know everybody that choose to participate in this, and I'm not taking anybody's side. All I'm saying, all I'm doing is basically reminding certain people that they don't know shit about boxing. They try so very hard to act like they are part of something special, and they get out here and just make a complete fool of themselves. So now that the rounds have been made for Jerron Ennis and Brian Norman Jr., once again, WCS had put it out there that they felt good about themselves just because the numbers had came up to the surface once again. People wanted to say, now I can be a CFO. Now I can pretend like I'm a CPA. Now that I can act like I know what exists internally to the sport of boxing. Look, I always mention this shit, that it's a lot to be heard, a lot to be studied, a lot to be taught when you are in the inner circle, when you learn, when you go to these fights. You get to have these sidebar conversations, off the record conversations, and you educate yourself. But you have individuals that are absolutely completely lazy. They feel like their vantage point is stand put right in the nest on fight night and cover a fight from afar, because the whole intention is to build up and have some type of monetary earnings. So recently, you know, like I said, I'm not taking anybody's side, but I'm gonna throw some freaking sprinkles of crumbs out there, strictly for knockdown, 68 iPad. You know what I'm saying? Pager. He has been on record as trying so damn hard to convince people that whenever he mentions duck and cook, it means something different than an actual duck, or actually somebody's damn preparing a meal, in the house. He is supposed to be flambéed to a whole different temperature. No, no. So I gotta dip you in the hot grease because you're a light skinned cat. You know what I'm saying? You need some more melanin in your skin tone. You had Brian Norman Sr. on your platform, and I know the whole entire interview was shaky for you because you are going off what you believe you know, the same default fillers that you think you know about boxing. So you're just gathering information, collecting data from all these sites on what you believe the numbers are with Norman and what they didn't take and why they didn't take it. My biggest question is, why is someone like yourself concerned? When did you become a Boots fan? Why are you so interactive with finding out what the numbers are about a fighter who didn't take a fight? Haven't you learned from the Crawford Spence situation? Now let me start to cook this dude. Let me let you listen to the audio. And hot grease is different. I'm saying deep, when you deep fry something, it's way different. He likes to talk about cooking, but he cooked himself. He absolutely cooked himself, because in this freaking audio, he basically wagers freaking a book that Adrian Clark of Fighter First Management said about why he entered the sport, but yet he didn't use a very intricate piece. You know what I'm saying? An intricate piece of information. He was on shaky grounds anyway, man. He was walking on goddamn cracked, thin ice anyway, once he decided to try to go into this topic. And you got to ask yourself, why are you even here again? Why are you trying to talk about monies? Why are you not talking about the champion that everybody was hyping up? The one that they was comparing to Roy Jones. Why wasn't he spoke on when it came to the payout? You know what I'm saying? Why wasn't somebody talking about what he was paid his fight with Avanesian? You know what I'm saying? I mean, both fighters were standing to gain much more zeros than they had the previous fight, right? So it was a two-way streak here. It was a bilateral agreement that both fighters was set to earn more than what they did their previous fight. So it wasn't like Jaron Ennis was up here he made his last fight with Avanesian 8 million, 10 million. It wasn't even close. But just because they find it easy to take the less popular fighter and they want to scrutinize why the fight didn't happen, as if they wanted the fight to happen to begin with. Like they was actually going. I can see if they was going for Junior, Norman Jr., but they wasn't going for him. All they was doing is trying to shit on a fighter out of GA. But these same fighters, look, check this out. These same voices, they wasn't shitting on him when he was about to be on BLK Prime. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't shitting on him then. They was like, oh, he gonna be the face. They wasn't shitting on him because these cats be finding a way to push the same agenda all the time. Let's take a look at this audio right quick. Let's take a look at this audio. Listen to this audio. Okay? Pay attention now. Pay attention, man.
The fuck would you have to pay? Why would you have to pay your promoter to fight on their card? They ain't got to pay the promoter shit.
They still take it. Your deal with Top Rank, they taking something.
No, they don't. They don't take nothing. No, they don't. No, they don't. You don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
You are telling me that Top Rank takes something?
Okay. So Top Rank don't charge a fee? You know, Top Rank is promoting you for free?
No. Yes, motherfucker. They don't charge nothing. No, they don't charge shit. Bro, if you believe that, you don't know shit about boxing. Your promoter does not charge you. They're putting you on. You got to make them money. They're trying to make you a star so people can put eyes on you.
Okay, let me put my. I wouldn't even put a monetary value to what I'm about to say, right? So if you selected to visit or engage in that freaking combat or dialogue, you need to have your weaponry on point. Your weaponry being your knowledge about the weapon that you're choosing to engage in this type of freaking battle. You're speaking, first of all, from afar, and you don't know anything about nothing, just like me. We out here and we don't know shit about the contract. The only way I know about the contract is if I was privy to information that Senior was going to give me or something like that. That goes for any fighter. Let's just say I was privy to getting the information and I know. You went in here assuming that everything that you've heard, you thought that the promoter charged something. If you was going to make that as your basis for argument, you should at least know what a promoter, how the fighter was being charged, or where it was coming from, because I never heard you speak about Crawford and Spence being charged anything by a promotion. You know what I'm saying? All I heard was, hey, he need to sign with Premier Boxing Champions. That's what they need to do. They're not gonna have him on there and he don't sign a 2-fight deal. They're not gonna just sign him up for 1-fight deal like that. I know that's off topic, but I'm trying to tell you that's the lane you was in. Getting back to the topic though. You have no understanding as to the purse that a fighter gets. That purse is theirs. There's deduction that comes up out of there, of course. You know, it's a belt involved. Taxes, of course. Just the regular shit. You know what I'm saying? Just the regular shit. But what you didn't know, you assume that the promoter takes a portion out of the fighter's purse. Now, peep this out. Every promotion, I always talk about the boxing tree of life. It's a lot of people that's eating off this tree of life and does shit differently. But you was absolutely wrong. You have to understand you didn't mention when it comes down to the promoter, receiving money from the broadcast and the merch. Did you not understand that? You mentioned earlier in this shit too that the promoter, they have to pay for medical. They have to have a caregiver. It's called the EMT. Okay, a caregiver is someone who takes care of somebody who's ill or whatever. An EMT, a minimum of two persons integrity. Okay, that's one. And then let's just talk about the flight, the food, the room and board. So you're trying to tell me fighters supposed to be independent contractors, but yet they have to pay? You're trying to tell me when they get the call from the promoter, they have to pay the promoter to be on the freaking card? How are they supposed to make any money? If you're going off the Muhammad Ali Act and you say the promoter can't charge anything higher than 33%, well, what if the promoter say, I'm getting 33% of your purse? And a fighter's purse is only $3,000. So the promoter, you got taxes and everything else. And to your argument, you're talking about a promoter is going to get 33%, which you need to do your research on that too. You need to research a bit more on what a promoter is able to get off the gate. You know what I'm saying? Merch, shit like that. Because last time I checked, y'all used to brag, or y'all didn't really know that when PBC was locked in with Showtime, they got like 128 million or something like that, around about. And then when they was linked up with Fox, that was another several million, right? So why would the promoters get paid in a budget, and you're acting like the promoter is going to charge the fighter for doing what they supposed to do as a promotion? Them flying the fighter in, getting the room and board, paying them for the fight, all the shit. You up here talking about the promoter got to pay for insurance. They got to pay for the venue and all that. That's the responsibilities of being a promoter. How the hell you gonna have a fight card with fighters, a whole fight card, if you're saying the only way you're gonna fight on my card, I'm charging you 33% of your purse? How the hell a fighter supposed to make money and they're getting taxed too? And you probably don't even know how much a fighter can make up to that they're not even taxed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this shit doesn't make any sense to basically engage in a conversation and you have very limited knowledge on what you're talking about. You forgetting about the gate. You forgetting about merch. You forgetting about the broadcast paying the promoter. What is that money doing? The broadcast is just paying the promoter to do what? You was insinuating that shit was going to be the responsibility of the fighter, far as the deduction out their pay. They're taking care of the money that has to be paid for the site fee, the insurance on the whole venue, the insurance on each individual fighter, the EMT, the fighter's reservations, lodging, food, and all that. You trying to tell me the fighter is being penalized for that? The promoter have to come out the pocket for that? Man, do you know anything about boxing, bro? Do you know anything about what is the highest percentage a promoter can charge selectively when you're engaging or reviewing somebody's contract, right? You looking over a fighter's contract. Isn't every contract different? Does every fighter get some off the back end? No, right? So wouldn't that be where the promoter comes in and take a certain percentage off the gate? It is a way for the promoter to make money, right? You know what I'm saying? Once again, let me propose this question to you. How is the promotion? I mean, where's the promotion doing with the money that the broadcast is giving them? Where's that money? Where's the money from the merch? Where's the money from the gate going? You trying to tell me they're going to collect that 100%? Zero disposal. That's what they're grossing. They don't have to pay nothing. But the money that they paying out to the fighters, they're gonna charge them a certain percentage. That's like pennies, bro. Every fighter on that card ain't making enough to even for the promoter to see a motherfucking thing. You trying to tell me they're gonna penalize or charge a fighter for fighting on their freaking card? What $200 gonna do to a fucking promoter? They're gonna charge every fighter, even the debut fighters. Even the debut fighters, bro. They're gonna charge a debut fighter who ain't making little or nothing, got to pay taxes and all this other bullshit on that motherfucker. If that's the case, or whatever penalties that you think that the deductions that the promotion is taking out. You think a debut fighter who ain't getting paid too much of anything, they're gonna be penalized, and the promoter's gonna have to deduct some out they pay? I mean, it's clearly that you was educated. Clearly, you was out your league once again. Clearly, you need to attend the fight. Clearly.
You don't pay your fucking promoter. Your promoter pays you.
No. Hold on a second. Hold on. Just 1 second. I'm gonna get around. I think what KO was saying is that you may not have the right to.
Hey, check this out. Now he has to get an interpreter. Now, I'm not trying to sit up here and start swinging the bat. You know what I'm saying? But these is a person that supposedly I would never allow somebody to interject and speak on my behalf in this particular moment, because basically this person hasn't allowed himself or herself. I'm talking about if it was a female, whatever, that's engaged in this conversation, to be able to counter. In boxing, you don't get a pinch fighter. You don't get a fighter to step in the corner to fight for you. It's mano y mano, tit for tat, tat for tit, all that shit. But you had to have someone step in and say, well, I think it's a bad look all the way around, brother. But I'll let it play out. I'll let Fanon get it off.
Check to him, but they are going to remove a payment for the promotion.
No.
Hit the buzzer.
I'm saying promotional guys, I understand, take 20%.
No, they don't take anything.
The promotion takes 20%. Can you imagine the promoters taking 20% like on every fighter that's on the card? How? Hey, what level do you have to be on for the promoter to take 20%? Because at the end, when Knockdown came back on here to rebuttal the video, because he wanted to scramble around and got there and do some research and come back up here and try to save face, right? After he was barbecue filleted Southern style, you know. He said, well, you up here lying. You was lying, because that's why it doesn't do any good to go up here and educate these cats, because they don't want to give you credit when they're being taught. He was given a lesson, because he was outside the scope of his expertise and knowledge.
Why would the promoter work with you if the promoter wasn't making any money?
Okay. You got ticket sales. They're building their fighter. They're building their fighter to make the money. So you put on, they want to put eyes on it. That's why it's in their best interest to build their fighter. So I'm teaching both of y'all then. It's in the best interest to build a fighter. You want to put Tank on your thing because it's going to put more eyes on the screen. That's going to put more ads. That's going to put more advertising. That's more money. The fighter pays the promoter absolutely no money. Nothing. I've been around boxing for 30 years. I ain't never paid a promoter shit.
See, he's talking about the purse that they get. It's certain deductions they have to, take out. Of course. You know what I'm saying? If you're a champion, now they are experiencing what has to be paid for the sanctioning fees. Everybody was talking about, well, Adrian was on the Boxing Voice, and he was talking about Brian Norman would have had to pay this for his belt and this for that belt. And then they try to hold it against, Norman them when it came down to him fighting, a different opponent. They still talking about he had to pay 2 fees and all that. Now he just has his belt. Now you do the subtraction, you divide. It's division, rather. It's division. And you're saying, well, he don't have to pay for that other sanctioning fee. And then they was talking about how you cross the road and shit like that. Listen, he didn't know I thought. Neither one of these cats knew. I commend them for trying, right? But when you want to engage, boxing doesn't have a pinch hitter. This is not baseball. Boxing isn't a team sport once you're contending inside them ropes. It is a mano a mano type of sport. It becomes a team effort outside doing negotiations. And obviously, you two is not a part of the team.
Nothing. You pay your manager. You don't pay your promoter nothing. Now, what happens with the 30% that you're talking about, when you cross promote, the 30% or 25% comes because, hold on, what? The 25% comes, can you help me, please? The 25% comes because you're using their product. You're a product. You're their product. You're a product that they built. They're building it, and they're building their product. You understand what I'm saying? You don't pay your promoter shit. We ain't got to pay them no fee on nothing.
You said 25% for Bob Arum. So what's that?
Because you're their product. If you cross promote,
saying the same thing. So just go ahead. We don't need to argue about that.
No, I just said no. I'm clear.
Hey, KO, when the 25%, whatever that fee is the 25%. You just calculate that fee with the 25%.
Okay.
So we don't have to have
I know promoter of the show takes them off the top, but anyway, whatever. So
promoter,
all of that.
What are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? See, this YTC, they will have individuals out here looking crazy, feeling crazy, and talking crazy. They don't even want to get credit when they obviously in a situation. What is this virus that goes around where you got to be right about everything? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the two of them, Fanon and Knockdown, did not know. They was unaware, but they was made aware of. And then Knockdown still want to be disrespectful and try to say his own shit. That's what you get for not attending fights. That's what you get for not having the knowledge or actually being involved with a team. That's exactly what you get. You get put on the motherfucking grill and you get cooked. Not to come over here and say, well, I cooked. No, brother. Once again, just like your debates, you don't know a motherfucking thing about what you're talking about. And obviously, if you don't have concrete freaking knowledge of contracts, it's going to take more than pulling up a book and going off Adrian Clark when the very same Adrian Clark is who Errol Spence looked at. He went and sought and signed to him to ensure that he get the highest payday of his career. You're not even using that when you're referencing Adrian Clark. You're busy up here talking about, well, Adrian Clark said this in his book. Okay. And we heard him on the Boxing Voice. But if you're going to use the analogies and you're going to wager the comparisons, at least use a comparison that involves with something recent. You want to talk about paying fees. Why you didn't go to what Crawford and what Errol Spence? If he had to pay a fee. Oh, that was his manager, huh? Because y'all was busy talking about, you know what the Grand Poobah Al Heyman get paid, right? So if he looked for Adrian Clark, yeah, he got to pay his manager. Why y'all weren't talking about what Al was getting paid? Did Errol Spence have to pay Al something out of that purse he got? Because Adrian Clark was over there too. If you want to talk about why he started being a manager and why he, basically reviewed a fighter's contract and felt that monies was being taken, you got to understand what deductions were they? You can't just use that as a template for boxing business and say, oh, that's why he got started. But what were the deductions for? You can't just put it on where it was the promoter and they had their percentage and this is why they deducted money. You're guessing. You're freestyling. If you don't know, say you don't know. You're freestyling. You don't know the business. You don't go to fights. Neither one of you go to fights. You don't talk. You don't have the conversations. You're not there. You're not able to speak to fighters on deck. You're not even speak to these managers. You think, oh, I can make some phone calls. No, they're not going to give you all that good, solid, that pure, untainted information over the phone because they don't want to be recorded. They don't want to be recorded. You got to have those conversations face to face to preserve the integrity of it. Look, people don't care if they talking to you face to face because they see everything that's going on in front of them. But when it comes to phone calls, you're not going to get all the information you know. Anyway, let me continue with this right quick. I'm not going to take too long with this.
All of that to the side, bro.
All of that to the side. All of that to the side. All of what to the side? Why aren't you responding to what he said? You saying all of that to the side. Now I'm going to screenshot this shit. Look at this right here. All of this to the side, right? Check this out. People just think I just be doing reaction to video for no reason, right? And this is nothing towards them two dudes that's on the panel. It's just that one with the hat on don't know shit about boxing, bro. Check this out. Look at the expression. Look at this. Check this out. All of that aside, y'all. What do you think that look at? Oh, you just don't want to give nobody no credit. It's no credit, no nothing. All of that aside. All of that aside now. Looking for none. For none's like that. He puzzled. He tried, but he's puzzled too. I tell these cats, stay the F away from talking about people's money and what you think you know about the sport when you're not affiliated with it other than just sitting in your seat behind a mic talking about what you hear and read throughout these freaking media, these mainstream media and other channels that's bigger than yours. Let me let you.
You still have the same, you still have fees. You still got to pay for your belt when you fight for it as a voluntary. You still got to pay.
For one belt, not two.
You talk for.
Now he talking about how long he talked. But who's going to let you say the wrong shit and let you continue to talk and basically what to the public mislead the listeners and the general public off information that's incorrect.
Like 15 minutes straight, and I just say fighter, just like Boots is a fighter. Boots' legacy is no bigger than that of your son's. So when we talk about it from that situation,
he just rambling. Knockdown, you just rambling right now, bro. Bro, you just rambling. You have the audacity to have Debate King at the bottom of your joint. Debate King, but you're just rambling right now. You don't want to give credit because you didn't know you was in an area, uncharted waters, and you just didn't want to give it up. You was up there with no oars, and he up there trying to give you at least one oar. Here, I'm trying to get you out these rough waters here. And you was so stubborn, like, no, I'll make it back. I'll push back with my hand. I'll roll with my motherfucking hands before I take that oar from you. Because, it's shit on Brian Norman, and he didn't take the offer, and we all about Boots because he's supposed to be the next, savior after Spence. That's what we want. We have all favorites already. So they're not going and doing a thorough examination with Boots and what he made previously. They want to do it for Norman because the fight didn't happen. Look, it wasn't like Norman was the A side to this. He was going over to Boots' backyard, but they're talking to Senior like it was the other way around. Like Boots was in Philly, and Norman was in Philly, and Boots was coming over there to Norman's backyard to fight. Like he had all the measures in place. He was the A side affair, and everything was in his favor, and he dropped out of the fight. No, him coming to my backyard, it don't mean anything. I don't care nothing about that. Nah. I don't care. Man, it's frivolous information, and it's shameful to sit up here and think that after all those failed debates, you're still calling yourself the Debate King. Man, y'all dudes are absolutely delirious, man. Delirious at the end of the day.
that's why people are calling him a duck for that. And then at the end of the day, bro, he is turning down far more money to fight a lesser fight. You can't get around that, and you never addressed that.
So look. Knockdown keep talking about he's turned down far he's turned down far more money, whatever, to take less money to fight this fight. So you gotta understand, right? Okay, so he's first of all, let's start off with this. Junior's supposed to be getting like a little bit over 300,000 or something, right? You know what I'm saying, for this fight. Okay, any smart-minded individual that has been in people's chat talking about how much fucking money they make, you should understand what the tax brackets are, dumb dumb. So therefore, if you was deducting that 1 point certain million and with taxes and everything else that have to be paid, and they was walking up out of there with 800,000 before taxes, before taxes. So these people are walking around here saying, "Oh, it's gonna be 800,000. That's what he's taking home. That's what's going in his account." They got to pay taxes on the 800,000, don't they? So let's just say whatever he gets after that, whatever he get, 800,000, and boom, that's deducted down to whatever he takes home. Okay, let's just say it's 500,000. Now he's going over there and he's fighting another fight, still championship fight, right? And he's getting paid less money. But now the tax bracket is different on the tax. And he's paying one sanctioning body, right? You know, the one he's at, they take their 3% off the rip. And then all the other minute details and when you hear Brian, when you hear Senior talking about it's gonna be half, he's talking about with the taxes and everything else from a different tax bracket. You're talking about being taxed for 1.7, Vice being taxed for what? What, 300, 400, 300, 400, whatever. I don't have to have the exact numbers. It's way less than 1.7 you being taxed with that. Any dummy would know that the tax bracket numbers are different than what you're going to get paid in the next fight in November if it's not for a championship, a unification in Philly at Wells Fargo. If the numbers are way down, how can you sit up here and still try to hold somebody accountable as if it's still 1.7? Why are you even speaking on these numbers? None of these numbers are going into your account. If you so-called make so much money than everybody else on the YTC, why wouldn't you even argue the point and not understand that there are different tax brackets when you're talking about someone getting paid? Any dum-dum would know that. You get taxed differently with a 1.7 than what you would with a smaller amount. 500,000, 400,000. It's different. You think they're going to tax you the same way? 1.7? It doesn't even make any sense because it's impossible to do that. First of all,
he's fighting a lesser fight. He is literally going on someone's undercard.
now he's talking about lesser fight. He's being on somebody's undercard. Now he want to talk about emotions and everything that he don't have shit to do with. Man, this is the worst. This is what you call a travesty at its best when people try to perform and the stage is not for them. Real talk. This is the reason why people get mad at me doing reaction videos, because I'm not sitting up here with not one freaking drip of hate when I'm doing these reactions. But when you sit up here and listen to people who don't attend fights, yo, they don't have the knowledge. They want to be such geniuses sitting on their face, man. Now he want to switch over. He's taking a lesser fight. What is Boots taking? Who's really being played? Is it the Normans or is it the goddamn Ennises? Why aren't you discussing what Boots may have to do and going over there to Germany to fight and his paycheck? Why aren't you mentioning him and Norman is not that much apart when they getting paid in their next fight, bruh? You just said their legacies aren't too far apart. So they're definitely not getting paid that far apart for their next fight. That's why I say this whole situation that you attempted to do, because you couldn't wait to try to get somebody on. See what you did is just like what happened with Crawford. You allowed freaking Senior to get acclimated to this conversation. and be on all these panels like Crawford was acclimated to 47. You gave him too many. You gave him too much time. You should have called him early when it may have been something that he may not have known about the shit that was going around. But he was on multiple panels before you. You had to make sure that you had the perfect window for him to come on your panel and try to goddamn hit him with some shit that he ain't already heard. You made yourself look like a fool. Now you want to switch it up. He's taking a lesser fight. Who? What, nigga? Boots is about to fight Karen. Nobody. When I say nobody, I mean nobody. Nobody is looking forward, nor did they ask. Any other time you had a poll up when you was doing debates, why you don't have a poll up and see who really wants to see Boots fight Karen? Are you looking forward to Boots fighting Karen? Yes or no? It'll be goddamn 100% no. But you're talking about he's taking a lesser fight. Now let me educate you on something. Gauging off first. You know how they say the first perception? You know what I'm saying? Perception is everything. So when somebody initially meets you, something initially is presented, it means everything, right? So just think about this. What if the boxing public haven't seen Norman fight his next opponent? Which is true, right? No one's seen him fight his next opponent. They just know that his next opponent isn't Jerron Ennis. They just know that his next opponent is not going to be in Philly. That's what the public know. The public understands that. But you know what the public will switch up on? You know, the public, when they have familiarization with something, it's all about what was left. What do they have to hang on to? What do they remember? What stood out most for them? Was it the intrigue, the suspense, the drama, or was the fight considered insipid, boring, nauseating? So now you have something for the very first time, which is an opponent that isn't as popular as Boots and Norman fighting, right? But yet you have Ennis fighting an opponent that the public, the general public, is familiar with, right? We are familiar with it, and we remember that it wasn't the best performance for Boots. It absolutely wasn't. So you're absolutely incorrect again, because you want to say he's taking a lesser fight when the lesser fight is Ennis going in there to fight Karen once again. Checkmate, bitch. You sitting up here talking about a lesser fight when no one, even Eddie Hearns, didn't want this fight to happen. He didn't even want to goddamn win the purse bid. And you on here trying to debate somebody like you know what the fuck you talking about? He didn't even bid $250,000, but yet you're debating with somebody that's on a team of a fighter who's going in there to fight a totally different opponent that nobody has witnessed firsthand, but they have witnessed firsthand the one that Boots is fighting. Not only that, they have seen a situation play out that seems a bit different. It seems a bit what? Insidious as to why Eddie Hearn did not win the purse bid. Now the control is nowhere close to where it was before. You want to blame Norman Jr. for that? That's who you blaming? You blaming Norman Jr. for that shit? He's sending out the contracts now. What Adrian Clark doing? You in the wrong field. You in the wrong field. It's no way that you feel comfortable talking about this shit. You in the wrong field. You need another genre to do media on. Because his promoter is who you should be talking about. Why he didn't win the purse bid if he felt that the fight was so important, like you are pretending it is, to sit up here and try to debate numbers with a team just because the fight's not happening. You sound absolutely foolish, man. Nobody wants to see Karen. So what fight is the little fight? No one wants to see Karen part 2, especially if the fight's gonna be in Germany. How did that happen? You go from, I guess, look, this whole deal, I guess is, he has to be faced with the liability because the fight is no longer in Wells Fargo in Philly's backyard. I guess at the end of the day, Eddie Hearns, the finger point, he gets put on no freaking timeout or nothing. There's no culpability his way for not winning the purse bid because it wasn't up to the Normans to win the purse bid, right? I mean, they was crossing the street, and y'all was talking so hefty about them paying the fee to cross the street, right? And not so much of a topic when it came to Crawford and Spence, because y'all love talking about crossing the street over there. But for this particular situation arrangement, that was actually a fee to pay the toll across the bridge. It was actually a fee. Yes, it was a fee. So now that fee has gone down the drain, now that fee is damn near what it would cost for Eddie to win the purse bid or whatever, who are you blaming? Because Boots is getting a very minimal paycheck. Brian is getting the minimal paycheck for their opponent. Both of them are balanced pretty equally. Why are you on here talking to the team? Why are you talking to this team? You're making absolutely no sense, bro. Let me get back to the audio. None at all.
To fight for peanuts compared to what you guys were offered to fight Boots.
He's talking about peanuts. But what is Boot getting paid right now?
You're not even the main attraction. You are a supporting actor on this card.
Supporting actor. Check this out now. Supporting actor now. Like let's revisit the Karen fight when he was the co-main event to Gervonta Tank Davis, aka El Chin Checker. He went out there and had a star on his card, a established, official, certified boxing superstar in Gervonta Tank Davis. You was his main event, and you went out there and laid a motherfucking goddamn goose, ostrich, emu, Jurassic Park. You laid one of the biggest eggs ever witnessed in the boxing ring. It could have fed everybody breakfast. How is Knockdown talking about you are going on a card where you're the supporting actor when he just picked up the title? He just picked up the title. His reign as champion haven't even been that long, brother. You know what you're doing? You straight up hating. That's what you're doing. You straight up hating. Just like that. You want to go to the support actor role, but I can give you several fights where particular fighters have been in positions on the fight card that people are wondering, huh? What? Why so-and-so on the card, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, you really think supporting actor has anything to do with him getting a higher paycheck in this particular situation? You're talking about Keyshawn Davis fighting in his backyard. You're talking about him having his brothers on the same card. Keon's making his debut. You think that Olympic pedigree and status don't mean anything, but yet you want to hold another fighter accountable for the matchmaking process, which is outside of their field of expertise and their work. They're not getting paid to be the matchmakers, bro. They're not getting paid to be the matchmakers. Keyshawn is fighting in his hometown. How many times he did it before? How many times he been over there and he's been the main event? How many main events he had in his freaking in Norfolk, Virginia? Please explain. Why do you not see that Olympic pedigree, Olympic status has a lot to do with how these promoters are pushing fighters over there at top? Huh? Have you really dived in that? Do you need snorkel? Let me give you snorkel gear and tell you to dive 300 feet and see how you make it.
That's why people are saying that, Senior. As far as for Boots Ennis, In that situation, it's a unification that you guys can have. It's a big fight, and it's way more money than what you're currently getting. So in boxing, fans are gonna do this. We're gonna call you a duck when we watch you have two offers on the table. At the end of the day, you had two offers. You had Jerome Boots Ennis. You had your voluntary defense against Huegos Rancheros, whatever his name is, right? Those are your two offers. You guys looked at both of those offers, and you chose the voluntary defense for less money. That's just the fact of the matter. You looked at both of them, and you said, we're going to take the easier fight for less money.
He said, we're going to take the easier fight for less money. Now, once again, this is a person that was an actual Crawford hater, right? Absolutely a Crawford hater. This is a person who was a Crawford hater. So when you hear him say, taking an easier fight for less money, how do you know it's an easier fight? How do you know it won't turn out the same way and Norman going in there running over Boots? How do you know? Have boxing not learned anything from July 29, 2023? How do you know it's an easier fight? You know nothing about these two matchups. You know what I'm saying? Anything can freaking happen. You're talking about Norman coming down from being knocked down and coming in and having a freaking performance like that, right? And then you see Boots go in there and have the performance he did with Karen, and then turn around and have the performance he did against Ramon Villa. Granted, two different styles, but we ain't talking about that.
All right, so you ready? You ready again? First of all, you're wrong about promotion. We do not have to pay none of the same fees. There's $300,000 off the top that we don't have to pay. We don't have to pay top rank shit. I don't know where now one of y'all man coming from. We don't have to pay top rank a motherfucking penny. On the belt, you pay $45,000 less because you're only paying for one belt. So all of the fees you're talking about, you don't have to do all that. Enemy territory, behind enemy lines. You're on another person's promotional situation. You in their hometown. You dealing with hometown judge. The same as that thing we just went through with top rank when it was, let's fight this. Watch this. Let's fight this. Because when you win this, the same thing with the Boost situation would have been. Let's fight this because when you win this, now you the man. Now you can make the calls. You can do this because you're gonna be the champion, right? Which is exactly what we did. So now you talking about significantly less money is actually half. Why you think you know what you're talking about is actually half. He's making half of what he would have made, but he's getting taxed on far less money. He's making damn near half of what he would have made, less fees. He's making damn near half with 300 with a whole lot less fees and a whole lot of less tax liability.
I want to show you a picture right quick. This is when those who believe they know they are forced to listen and learn. One thing I can say about Fanon is that he sat there and he was learning. He was retaining information. Now, just because I said he may deny it, but if you take a look at what I see, he's being disciplined. He's listening. Why? Because he's intelligent enough to understand that he don't have the answers. He don't have the answers to debate this general topic, because that particular person who is talking and giving the information, they are with a team. His son is the fighter, and they are attached to Fighters First Management. You know what I'm saying? And then the people that are on the outside, and they're looking like this, it's called listening. And you know what? When Knockdown learns how to listen and be, accept, he, what's the word I'm looking for? He's able to be receptive to listening and learning from other people, and know that he don't know everything there is to know in boxing, let alone life. You know what I'm saying? And then he'll be a much better person. I won't come in here and dip his ass and deep fry his ass in the hot grease for goddamn jumping outside his league and think he know everything. And then when he find out it's information he don't know, he still try to come back and save face with a freaking video and say, man, I cook, I cook, I cook, I cook. No, you didn't. You was like a kid next to the stove for the first time. They told you, hey, stay away. That shit red. Stay away. You see that fire? And you just had to go up there. I ain't worried about that. Man, you know what I'm saying? You that kid, bro. This is outside your league.
Simple as that. Again, this is our fight, and he talking about legacy and my son legacy on the line. My son is 23, Boost is 27. My son got a whole lot longer. He started ahead of him. He's currently ahead of him. The next fight he get with that title defense, he's going to still be ahead of him. Financially wise, he's ahead of him. He was 23 years old. Everything he's doing is ahead of him. So again, we was doing Boost a favor. Why go the route with Boots and they fucking throwing shit at you, they talking shit about you, they saying all of this stuff there, where you can stay your own course, stay in your own in the comfort of your own promotional background and not deal with all the fees, not deal with everything, and handle your business.
You know what? I'm gonna stop that right there because hey, if he gets look, if I keep on playing the audio, he's gonna get super duper fried, overcooked, to the point where you no. It won't even look like it's edible. You know what I'm saying? It's no need. See, he made a good point. When Senior said, why are we going to, go through these dire straits, these rough waters, right? And just to say, we're going over here to do this when boxing is a freaking business and everybody want to talk numbers. And this is a perfect example as to why people believe they know everything about the business, right? And he said, and we don't have to go through all the turbulence of going in somebody's backyard, doing all this other shit, paying the fees to cross over, going over there in Philly, all this other stuff you have to deal with both mentally. The physical part is going to be handled in the ring. But mental becomes physical, especially when it deals with stress. Especially when it deals with stress, it becomes physical, a physical suppressant. And all that has to do with going through the whole negotiation. Man, that shit is difficult, I can imagine. But when you make a decision, it is a business decision for all parties involved, goddammit. For all parties involved. If you're not involved and you just like me from the outside frame looking in, stop acting like you on the inside frame looking out. They're not telling you, hey man, I'm just letting you know. Top Rank is about to send you an email with your flight reservations and everything and your lodging. We just want to make sure Knowdown68 pager will be on deck. You'll be there, right? Because they having open workouts on Wednesday, Thursday, they having the final presser. Friday, they having the weigh-ins. And then Saturday, it's fight week. I mean, you would know that lineup if you actually attended fights. And this is more so, projected at Knockdown instead of Fanon, because Fanon just came in as a savior. You know what I'm saying? He saw the distressed duckling out there when he should have been shh. He came in there to rescue him. He came in there to try to be the mediator because he saw the flamethrower in full effect. He saw that shit was full effect, man. And he don't want to get no credit. Let me take you to the back end of this shit. Let me take you to the back end. Let me see. Man, you make it too easy, bro. You make it too easy. For real.
So everybody watching this video know, yes, Senior has been invited to refute anything I'm saying.
He don't need to come back to refute anything you're saying, because the information that he gave to you freely pro bono, that was enough in itself. That was enough in itself. You was compensated tenfold for shit that you didn't fucking know.
And I'm not even gonna have to say nothing to do it. Ain't that some shit? I'm not even gonna have to say nothing to do it, bro.
Man, you sound stupid.
You love talking about money in the business of boxing and all that shit when you trying to make your point, but when I start throwing that shit back at you, you got real loud, really.
Because you ain't know what you're talking about. He's talking about the business of boxing because he's inside and actually have a fighter that deals with boxing in general. So therefore, there's a process of negotiation that deals with a contractual or freaking agreement. I don't think you know that because you just want to pull up something you can retrieve data on the internet and say, "This is what I learned." Hey, your manager, right? Is Agent Clark, right? He put this book out, right? And he said this, this, and this. Why is somebody that's allowing you the opportunity, somebody who's actually has a fighter in the business, right? That's a world champion. They are giving you're trying to do the same shit to Junior that you did to Shakur Stevenson. You have this arrogance about you that you want to invite fighters to your platform and try to shit on them. You try to act like you're the one doing the fighting and you ain't doing it. The only thing you fighting is trying to convince people that you know a damn thing about boxing. Besides that, you're not even in the team, man. You're not even holding a spit bucket. You're not even in the arena next to the ring apron. You're none of that. But you think somebody's gonna talk business with you when what you're saying don't make any fucking sense, and they're old enough to know, you know what, this dude ain't gonna give me credit for what the fuck I'm talking about. He ain't gonna goddamn acknowledge I just told him some shit he didn't know. That's why he don't want to freaking talk. I ain't talking for him. I'm just saying from my reaction wise, nigga, that's what I see.
Emotional. Wanted to overtalk me, didn't want to let me get a word in. Ain't it? And they offered you the opportunity at Legacy.
Listen, light skin. Let me help you understand one thing. If a person ain't trying to talk to you, that means you ain't talking about shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you ain't over talked anybody. But at the end of the day, you want to mention some legacy. Why would you even bring up the L word? Why would you even bring up the L word in this situation? Because both fighters are damn near leveled out. They are abreast in ranks when it comes to their career. And it don't matter if Ennis has 30 plus professional fights and Brian Norman has 20 plus professional fights. It doesn't matter. Let's look at how both of them picked up their championship. First of all, see, this is where the hater come in. Real talk. If you want me to be extremely petty, I can. It's something that you're leaving out. Maybe when I listen to you, Cass, it always wearing a freaking cap on your head, right? Maybe just once when you're knowing you're about to walk into a motherfucking volcano. Don't have shit on your head that's gonna catch fire first, nigga. Take the shit off, and so your brain can breathe. Let's look at how they obtain the belts, bro. One, they sent a dead end letter when a fighter was locked into a contractual agreement for a rematch, and that's how he got the belt. On B, Bravo, you have a fighter who fought for the belt. Legacy. You want to talk about legacy? What legacy are we talking about? You heard Senior say, well, my son is 23 years old and Boots is 27. Legacy? Somebody tell me, how do we gauge who's in front and who's in back when it's racing? Is this a race? I didn't think it was a race. I'm just saying that you can't erase the fact that one fighter is much younger than the other. And at that point in time, Senior was trying to make a valid point that my son is doing this at this age. Boots wasn't doing it. He wasn't on this level when he was 23 years of age. That's point blank period in freaking English, man. You don't need to serve up jelly donuts and get somebody a sugar hit and say, you ready? If you're not ready, I can make you some hot cocoa with marshmallows. You good? Your antennas up? What are we talking about legacy for, bro? It makes no sense to talk about legacy when one fighter fought for their championship and the other one sent in a dead end letter and they say, hey, by tomorrow morning you'll be champion. Congratulations.
They giving you the shot at Legacy. You can't say you giving them a shot because your team didn't send no offer back. Top Rank didn't make an offer for the fight. They giving you your son the shot at the belt.
What? Excuse me? They giving what? That's what happened when you run into them goddamn bees. That's what happened, man, when you intoxicated off your own arrogance. When being pompous goes wrong, huh? Being pompous goes wrong. You're not a good listener, bro. How does legacy affect one fighter and not the other? For both of them to hold a single title in a fairly fresh division of champions, how is one fighter considered um a higher rank on the chain of command in that division when you have four freaking champions? And the only way that happens is that you thoroughly and you go more in depth as to how the fighters receive their belt. Fight fans remember what happened to Giovanni, how that fight went down more than Boots' last two fights. They compare the Giovanni fight to the Avanesian fight. It's not even close. It's not even close. And here you are being a hater talking about freaking legacy. You just being a hater, bro. You didn't even listen to a word that he was saying to you and the knowledge that he was providing pro bono. You was busy up here being a knucklehead.
Your son the shot to unify at just 23 years old. Yeah, that's what they giving to you.
Oh, that's what they giving to him now. It's a one-way deal here, y'all. If Halloween couldn't get here any faster, I swear to God, I want to get these clowns in the street and go trick-or-treating so they can do something that they're good at, y'all. Do something that they're good at, man. Real talk. I can't make this up. So the heavier scale when it comes to legacy benefits Norman because he is 23. So now you don't want to recognize what his pop said, that he's doing this at 23 and Boots wasn't doing it at 23. But yet you want to say, oh, he was giving you an opportunity to be unified at 23. Well, what about Boots at 27? Is it not the perfect age for him to become unified too? Oh, you're not trying to then project any freaking knowledge. You know what I'm saying? How the brothers used to say, man, I'm trying to break down and give you some knowledge. Knowledge is power. You understand me, sucker? Listen when a grown man talking. You need to listen, brother. How are you talking about you going to project 23 as an opportunity for him to pick and be unified, but yet you don't want to give the same credence when he's saying, well, Boots wasn't doing this when he was 23, point blank, period. So how are you continue to leverage this king status or this fighter that's more popular or he's did more? No, neither one of them. They pretty much even. It's a little bit slight separation because Norman had a better performance than Boots did his last outing. And he fought for the belt. Can't say the same.
So how are you doing the favor? How are you doing the favor? When they the ones offering all that to you, and all you trying to do is get a payday. All y'all trying to do make sure you take home $2 million.
See, here we go again. Somebody that's up here trying to talk about other people's pockets. All you're trying to do is take home $2 million. All you're trying to do. So once again, hating. He's up here ignoring or totally eliminating the fact that we don't know who the winner is of this fight because it hasn't happened. But what his general consensus is, what he's trying to relate to the audience is, oh, Boots was trying to do you a favor, but we don't think you're going to win, but he was trying to do you a favor. So since you didn't take the fight, you didn't have confidence that you can go in there and win. So now he's going to try to reverse it back and say, oh, you was trying to get a payday. You just wanted $2 million so you can check out. That's all you was trying to do. Make up your fucking mind. Is it about a freaking payday or is it he missed out on legacy? Which one is it? Because both of the scenarios require sound-minded individuals to make sure everything benefit both fighters. Boots has his team. Norman has his team. You're not a member. Period. You're not on either one of them.
How y'all the one doing the favor, bro? Make that shit make sense. 3 weeks ago, when you was on the Boxing Voice, you said that you ain't tripping on the Bozy shit because Boots is his own man. And Boots could have said, yeah, make the fight without even talking to Bozy first. But then when you got in my face and I was doing you so dirty, you decided to switch that up and say that once you talked to Bozy, that shit was dead. I ain't even tripping. Once I talked to Bozy, I was like, they ain't even want to fight.
So what's wrong with that? If there's a lack of communication internal to the team, and this has been something that has made itself out to the GP, right? The general public was made aware that while this negotiation was going on, a phone calls were made, and Bozy didn't know, and he didn't want it. He's been on record, even at the presser, saying they wanted to become undisputed within the welterweight division. So if you want to talk about contradiction, why are you not talking about them doing everything possible to unify the first title? Because they was the first ones out the gate, just like a horse race. And they was talking about they wanted to become undisputed at welterweight division. Yes, they did. And he was champion before Norman Jr. came on the scene. Was he not? Huh? Do you remember? So I don't know what the hell you talking about. Once again, you want to talk about he said this on the Boxing Voice and said that it was public record that Bozy said he wasn't aware of them trying to fight Brian Norman. So which one is it? Do they want to become undisputed, or they want to be selective on the first champion that they face to start the undisputed route? I guess Norman wasn't in the equation because Eddie Hearns didn't want to finish the purse bid. I get it.
But you had already corrected that whole situation 2-3 weeks ago. But when you in that flame broiler, when you getting your ass put in that pizza oven,
and when you in that grease looking for freaking gear, an inner tube, or some type of rescue to pull you up to the surface, knowing damn well that's not going to matter. That's not going to matter. You're never going to make it to the surface. You're not. That's why I say you're not my mandatory. You never will be. Your recall memory is not the way it's supposed to be because you're not willing to listen. You're not willing to sit up here and hear other people's, take on other information. You don't understand what mass communication consists of. You just want to have your own ideals, and that's everything you want. You think that is the structure. You're writing scriptures and Bibles and freaking literature out here. You're not writing no fucking literature. The only literature you're putting up there is typing in Debate King, which everybody know that don't make any fucking sense, and that ain't true.
you try to juggle shit and you think people forget what you had said previously, but I'm not one of them. You had the nerve, being managed by Adrian Clark, to say that promoters don't take money from fighters.
Once again, when I was growing up, it was this toy called a Slinky. And I swear to God, he must have ate like 2 or 3 of them. Because the narratives that he's trying to push is so slinky. That shit is so slinky. Anybody who grew up around that time will tell you, you drop a Slinky on some stairs, that shit just go on about his way and go down the stairs. That shit is so slinky. This nigga is using a freaking boxing manager to make a point about a promoter. Why not use a promoter to make a point about a promoter? But you're using a boxing manager to basically try to argue your point about a promoter. Why you just didn't have Adrian Clark come on your channel or your panel and try to talk this shit with somebody who's actually in the business? Why y'all didn't call up Shaw News? He could have came over here and gave you some information. Oh, no, you wouldn't have been receptive to that because you want to believe and convince people that you're in charge and you're doing everything from a distance. Nigga, you ain't Al Heyman.
That fighters do not have to pay a percentage of their purse to promoters.
It's horrendous, man.
We want to cost ourselves even more money without charging you a single fee. Your own manager is cooking you, bro. I don't even have to.
The manager wasn't cooking him. The manager just telling you, pretty much why he got into the business and what he saw. Every contract is different. So that freaking reference that you was using is just so pathetic. That's a pitiful, pathetic freaking reference that you use. He's talking about what got him into the business and what he's seen. And somebody like myself who's never been a boxing manager, all I can say is what I've seen and what I've been told and all this other stuff of visiting fights and attending fights and the people that I communicate that's in the business. Every contract is different. No one contract is the same. They don't have a template where this contract is like that. Every fighter signs off on the same one. You know what I'm saying? You don't do a mass docu-sign when you coming up on a fight card. So to try to prove a point for a promoter by using a manager, that shit don't make no sense anyway. You know what I'm saying? You can tell you was the one on the seesaw with the fat kid. You know what I'm saying? You always thought you supposed to be the one up in the air rolling down that mother, hitting your head on the handles.
I don't even have to say nothing. But I'm gonna keep going because you lied again, bro. You lying, Adrian lying, or Adrian is playing the fuck out of you, and you need to find out where the extra 5% went. What?
Now he want to insinuate. See, that's why, he didn't want to come back and respond to anything because you being a hater. You know what I'm saying? The same shit you was talking real reckless to Shakur Stevenson, like you the one that's stepping into the ring. It's the same thing you're doing now. Now you want to act like the very same manager that you wanted to use for a reference for the book that he wrote, right? Now you want to say he's possibly playing him because you are unsure about the shit you talking about. You're unqualified to speak on it. Not only are you unqualified to speak on the bullshit that you keep on referencing, it's the fact that you just don't get it. You use the boxing manager to talk about a promoter. Why don't you just get the promoter on here? You're not big enough to call Bob Arum up and talk to Bob Arum, talk all greasy to Bob Arum. You can ask Bob straight to his face if you really want to know the numbers. Because wasn't you the one on your panel talking about Crawford doesn't deserve, how dare he ask to see the books when y'all thought that pay? Wasn't that y'all? Bro, you'll never be my mandatory. I run circles around you, man. I run circles around you any given day of the week. I don't have time. It'll be good if you was that patient and you was listening. But you was sitting up there patient and quiet because you was saying, oh shit. Oh, damn. Oh man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to stick to my guns. I'm gonna have to stick to my guns because this is outside my freaking area of qualification. You want to use Adrian Clark as a to reference his book and what he was saying and how he got started to pretty much try to validate your point. But then you turn around and say, oh, Adrian might be playing y'all. See how the shiesty, you know what I'm saying? See this backstabbing type of shit that goes on in the YTC? 1 minute you trying to damn credit the man for writing a book and talk about why he got started to prove Senior was wrong on something, and then you turn around and try to act like he's up here stealing from him. When this very same manager was a part of Errol Spence's fight with Crawford when he got paid the most money of his career. Now you tell me who's delusional, who may be under the influence. Man, I'm done cooking this cat. You too easy. You easy work. You're easy work, period. You easy. You had to have somebody come in there and try to help you, try to mediate what the fuck you was talking about. You had to get help. Shout out to Martin King Boxing, man. I always stop by the OGWCS for boxing sensibility. Appreciate the $2 super chat there. Martin King Boxing in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. I'm going to the top. Shout out to Conquest with the $3 super chat in the building. Much appreciated. One love to y'all, man. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. I'm just going to try to go down and skim through these freaking comments a little bit. I still can't understand how people are telling others how to run their lives and what they're getting paid. Absolutely. That's just like somebody walking up to you and they see you getting out of a nice car and they say, "Excuse me, if you don't mind, can you tell me how much you make a month? I mean, take home pay. Where do you live at? What's some of the expenses that you have, monthly? What is what you call your throwaway fund? We just go out here and splurge on certain material items that you may need. Hmm. Hmm. Do you think that's reasonable for you to do that? I mean, I know you told me how much you made, but I'm speaking from a business sense. Don't you think you should give that money that you're burning and allow me to invest it? Now, I can't promise you you're going to get a return, but I just want you to give me the money and we'll see what happens. We're going to have a verbal agreement. I'm not doing no paperwork. It's going to be all verbal. It's crazy, man. And when they mention resume, my response is, okay, let me see your resume with salary. What? What? What you? What? What? Let me see your resume. What? I'm sounding like Lil Joe. What? Let me see your resume and salary. Good point. Good point. For all those freaking knockdown, viewers. Look, it's okay if I'm taught something, I let it be known that I learned something new. It's some people that's out here stubborn and it's just blockers, man. They have these defense mechanisms that's hindering them from improving and enhancing their knowledge in a sport that you don't know everything. But certain areas in the sport you have to be a player in. You have to hold a position to know certain things. Okay, it's cool to hear all this information. It's cool. It's all good. Oh man, I heard this from this. I heard this from that. Okay, but you really don't know unless you're dealing with somebody who's in the business, somebody who's going through this, or maybe yourself may be dabbling in it, getting your toes wet a little bit, going to fights, dealing with fighters. But a lot of these cats, they're doing it remotely, way out of bounds. And they're just going off what they're able to access with their fingertips, people. Don't get mad at me because some topics I come over here and I really don't go in the way I can. Don't get mad at me because boxing, it's no way that I'm gonna come in here and give you the hot grease every time, all the time. It's not. But nor do I come over here acting like I know everything either. But there's certain areas within this audio that truly doesn't make sense, and the only one that was flambéed today of shit he didn't know was Knockdown. Because he's sitting up here talking about areas he don't know. And look, he doesn't have the wisdom in himself to just say, you know what? I didn't know that. Okay. I may not, I didn't know that, but I'm going to do a little bit of research. You know what I'm saying? Not do research and come back and say, well, I cooked you. No, man. Now you sounding crazy, bro. Now you sounding crazy. Man, you got to give another man. If somebody teaches you something or give you information you wasn't in possession of previously, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to allow them to know that that's what happened. Show some form of appreciation. Why am I gonna stress myself the fuck out by sitting up here acting like I know everything? And somebody just told me something I didn't know, but I'm gonna hold it in and I'm not gonna credit them. Shout out to Jessica, the boxing queen on deck. What's good? Like if you break a rental agreement. Man, this is crazy, bro. I must admit it was unbelievable. I called it live too. Yeah, man, this shit is wild. We have to be in better positions to make power decisions in boxing. Too much knowledge to waste. Facts, man. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing in the building. What's good with it, Blunts? He always calling in to say something dumb to somebody. Hey, what exactly are you mentioning? Say something dumb. What exactly you mean? OG sound like he disappointed in his son. Knockdown, you still haven't learned. He thought he was going to get some that service wave this time in Philly. I see you, Toby. What's good? What's good? KQKC Boxing Network. What's good, KQ? What they do, WCS? What's good? Salute. Hey, I appreciate you, man. You know, one thing I can say, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to bring KQ into the situation, but man, it's you know, what I didn't know, I know. He do his own thing. He's a grown fucking man. He let people know that. You know what I'm saying? He don't take no fucking man. He make his own moves. You know what I'm saying? I can respect that. He's partnering. That's my boy, but he don't know a lot about the inside of boxing business. And I told him that. Hey, well, I'm gonna say I don't know more about the boxing business than Shaw News. You know what I'm saying? He has basically level changed to the point where even with Jahad Tucker, he was able to basically um, make those connections and network and make those phone calls. And the rest is history. The rest is history. Adrian Clark. How people going to be so happy that Spence went over there to Adrian Clark last year and Spence was able to get the highest pay that he ever received. But in this particular conversation, you don't want to credit Adrian Clark positivity on both sides. You're going to speak of his book to prove a point of what Senior to debunk what you felt Senior was saying that was wrong. But then you turn around at the end and say he's probably freaking whitewashing y'all and stealing from you. Man, come on, make up your mind. Make up your mind, brother. Make up your mind. You know, obviously he is a freaking legitimate manager. Regardless of how he attacked being into the system, how he started from the inception. He's already in the system and he has you know, he was a part of a world champion, a unified world champion. And he has another freaking current world champion on his roster. So, man, come on, bro. Come on, man. You got to give these people credit when credit is warranted, bro. I know boxing, but I don't know a lot about the inside of boxing. I will admit that. Hey, we're in the same freaking canoe on them white cap waves. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't know everything there is to know about boxing. He said Norman getting a shot at Boot's belt like Norman doesn't have his own belt. I know, man. That's what I'm saying, bro. You up here talking about at 23, you had the opportunity. So you trying to tell me at 27, you're prorating the value of winning a championship? My God, must I remind you, Knockdown, how old Spence was when he contended, how old Crawford was? Except Spence was in a single division, competing to be undisputed in his first division. Crawford had already accomplished that, brother. You're not making any sense trying to put that, redirect that line of fire. Say, oh man, he was giving you opportunity at 23 years old. Okay, what is Norman giving Boots at 27 years old? What has taken so long? We've seen you in and out of court, and this has nothing to do with Team Boots, but we're talking about spitting out the factors. Bro, you being biased, man. Why are you not enforcing, you know what I'm saying, Team Boots at their point, you know, 27 years old, he's supposed to be a more popular fighter. Why are you not enforcing them to make sure they make the fight? Wasn't everything in as far as the advantage and everything? Didn't they have the leverage? Didn't they have Eddie Hearns? Wasn't we talking about all the freaking fees that Team Norman had to pay, you know, just to follow suit with that fight over in Philly? That was a hell of a lot of money. But y'all leaving that shit out. You want to come over here and talk about, or you rather take less money and be a supporting actor to be on? Man, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Pitiful. It's pitiful, bro. Real talk. It's pitiful, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's pitiful. And they sitting up there thinking I be hating on doing reaction. I'm not. I'm not hating, man. I'm just, bro. That shit is public. That shit is public fucking record. So how in the hell are you gonna sit up here and try to think that someone is not gonna critique the bullshit that you keep on putting out there when you got Debate King on your title? Stop debating and educate yourself. If someone that's in the business like Norman Sr. was educating you and telling you what they don't have to pay, and you busy up here trying to say, oh, you got to pay this fee, pay. What does it matter? How does that have to do with anything when they was going over there and paying extra money to fight in Boots' backyard, and Matchroom was the pilot? How are you blaming the Normans and Eddie Hearns them? They had to pay fees to toll across the bridge, man. How are you even holding them accountable and they had to pay the toll across the bridge? 300 grand? Just one of the fees. And you still stuck on 1.7? You still mad they was trying to get extra money because of all the high fees and the avenue they had to take? Hey, sometimes when you're driving on the highway, you got to pay tolls, right? I'm just saying. Sometimes you got to pay tolls, man. Shout out to my guy Christopher White in the building, man. Y'all I can't read all these comments. Shout out to Prediction 101 in the building. Salute to you, brother. Hey man, I appreciate y'all for pulling up. I'm not gonna spend too long on here. It's already close to an hour and a half. But I just wanted to goddamn dip, freaking knock down in the hot grease as always, and remind him he ain't my mandatory when it come down to this. People need to understand every topic I'm not motivated to get this type of energy to, but when it comes to certain topics, yeah, I'll do it. I'll turn on the eye. You know what I'm saying? I get the stove hot. And the shit that he was talking about, it's just shameful, man. Like he obviously blatantly hate on certain individuals that he want to try to make a fool of, but the person that's end up being foolish is himself because he don't know what the fuck he talking about, and he want to sit up here and act like everybody else that's absolutely in the business now. He know more than them. How the fuck you gonna know more than somebody that's actually have a fighter in the business? He's trying to tell you something. And then you're like, no. Anyway, besides all that stuff, we moving on, of course. And Fanon tried to come over there and save him. But see, that's a separation of intellect right there. It showed. I don't look, it showed, man. When Fanon didn't have the answers right, he sat there and listened. He sat there and listened. He wasn't looking as if he was trying and he was anxious to respond. He postured and listened. Because he probably gonna go do some research and find out and pretty much, scrutinize this and see what he can pick out that's right from wrong. But the other knucklehead, he's still acting like he's a juvenile and he don't want to goddamn get no credit. He has to respond immediately. He has to respond immediately. Sometimes you just process the information, you go do your research, and then you come back and retransmit. Hey, shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game. Appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. Until next time.